propping up the bar with JONJO Neil, trainer of last year's Grand National hero. Don't Push It. JONJO, we're back again this season. Top weight, but that was to be expected, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose it was really. Just hopefully we can turn up on the same form as he was last year. You know, he's a bit of a character really, but when he's right, he's right. So looking forward to it. Really, he loved it last year. He jumped like a buck, and the place seemed to just set him alight. So hopefully he'll do the same this year.
Well, we've got to go back to Red Rum to find a dual winner of the Grand National. But your lad was really impressive last season, and the handicap, although he's got top weight, looks like he's given him a fair chance. Does he strike you as a sort of horse that would go back and enjoy it a second time?
You never really know, Lee, to be honest, until they go there. But he's in great form, and he just loved it last year. You know, he really did love it. And obviously, I'm hoping that he's going to go back and do similar. You know, but we were all amazed. You know, because he is a bit of a character, really. How much he enjoyed it, like, you know. So. But he went to Cheltenham a couple of weeks before it and didn't enjoy it at all. So, but if he goes back in the same form, obviously he's got a great chance, you know.
And would he ever run over fences before the National?
He might do, yeah. He's in this weekend over hurdles, and then there is, he was run last weekend, obviously, at Newbury, and then there's a 2.5 mile chase at Newbury. So it's possible, but he might go back to Cheltenham as well. We'll just have to wait and see how it fans out.
And JONJO, the handicapper has given synchronised 11.6. He's a Coral Welsh National winner. He's in the Gold Cup as well. You've always said in the past he wouldn't be as classy as Don't Push It. How would you rate him as an entry possible?
For me, he has too much weight, really. He wouldn't be as good a horse as Don't Push It. Don't Push It is a classy horse, like, and he's there. You know, he's a lot of good form, really. This fella is really an out-and-out stayer and on a heavy ground, as we all know, you know, so conditions are very important to him, really.
And would he have to have deep ground to run?
I'd say he'd have to have soft ground anyway, you know. I mean, there would be no point in running him on fast ground, you know, but on decent ground around that track, you just never know what it brings out in the horses, really, if they enjoy it and everything goes according to plan, you know, but for me, he would definitely, I would say, he's not as good a horse as Don't Push It, you know.
And JONJO, you had a major hand in history last season, because not only did you train Don't Push It, you also convinced AP to ride him and not Can't Buy Time, but you've got Can't Buy Time in again. Is he still a legitimate Grand National possible, a real contender?
He loves the good ground, you know. Good ground is important to him, really. And I know he's gone there twice and fell twice, but actually he is a very good jumper. He's just been a bit unlucky last year. Richie got knocked off him by a loose horse jumping into him, really, at the Canal Tongue. He's a good stayer, and he's normally a good jumper, and on good ground, you know, he has a nice weight, really. So if he gets in, I would definitely be hopeful.
And your fourth entry, Qualibet, we don't know much about him over here. Formerly trained in France. How long has he been with you for?
He's only been with us a week or so I don't know a whole lot about him, really, but I have seen his races, and he seems to like soft ground, and he seems to stay and jump pretty well, even though he has fell a couple of times in France. He's a likeable type, you know, so he could be just that type of horse, really, you know, but I don't know a whole lot about him yet, so, but he's lazy. I've seen him run in France, and he's quite lazy, really.
JONJO, one last question, the key question. You won the Grand National last season with Don't Push It. This season, Don't Push It again. Would you be surprised if he could regain or retain the John Smith's Grand National?
I wouldn't be surprised, no. He's a good horse, and as I say, if he turns up the same as last year, he seemed to love the place, you know, so if he goes back on that form, he's got every chance, you know?
Evan Williams, you'll either be pleased or horrified to know that the Racing Post pundits were all over state of play when we assessed the race. Their view was that him coming to the race first time out was a huge plus. Do you think the same?
Well, that's always been the plan. Mr. and Mrs. Rucker and I discussed that very soon after last year, and we just thought that it could make sense to try and go there very, very fresh this year, and we've been very, very pleased with the horse at home.
His entry record is exemplary. Fourth, third last season, ultra consistent. He really does look to have a big chance.
Well, he's got more of a chance this year if you look at his weights. I mean, if he started off 2 years ago going there off, you know, what looks like tough assignments. But now all of a sudden he goes there off a very realistic weight. I mean, he'll have a good bit under 11 stone, the experience under his belt, and you know, we don't, none of us know, but he's exceptionally well at home, and fingers crossed we can maintain that up until the day.
I mean, age-wise, he's obviously that bit older again now, but by no means ancient for a Grand National winner. Would his age be a concern or a factor even?
Well, it's probably irrelevant because he hasn't been raced hard. I mean, if you consider he had 2 runs last year, he hasn't had a run this year, and he had 3 runs the year before. He's a very fresh horse, very, very happy horse, and this was another reason why, you know, we decided to go this route, because we didn't want to go to Aintree as an afterthought. We think he's run 2 very, very good races there, and this year, you know, we've focused our attention on going there fresh and well. So his age, I think, is probably age and experience is more of a benefit than a hindrance, really.
And 25 to 1 seems to be a general price about him at the minute. A lot of people think that's a bit generous. Would you agree, or would you sit on the fence?
Well, it's a Grand National, isn't it? You know, I mean, we'd be all a little bit silly to start predicting what would happen as far as prices and things like that are concerned, but I can just tell people he's very, very well, very, very happy with the horse, and he's just a dream horse to have anything to do with, and it's very nice to be going there with a horse that, you know, obviously goes there with a very good chance.
Well, no man knows more about the John Smith's Grand National than this man, Sir Peter O'Sullivan. Sir Peter, last year inducted as one of the Grand National legends, one of the 5 people in the Hall of Fame. That must have been a real pleasure for you.
Well, of course, it's very exciting. I would have to dispute your first statement, of course. I know nothing about it, but I should, of course, having covered 50 of them on radio and TV, but quite a few more, including reporting. No, I still know nothing. I'd love to see Tony McCoy having started. I'd love to see him continue where he started. But of course, there's a horrible history, and as JP is not standing within earshot to be reminded of it, of horses falling at the first next time, isn't there? You know, one always has that dreadful thought. You know, a horse that I thought, I'd love to see Don't Push Into It again, of course, but I thought a horse that, it's not an original thought at all, but I thought he's in the right stable for it. He's got a right profile. Winner at Cheltenham was a Kim Muir. Bella Briggs, you know, I think by presenting, very good sire for the job, and I could just see him making a very good show anyway.
And Sir Peter, the great race, obviously you commentate, as you say, on so many of them. Does it still give you a buzz when we get to Grand National time?
Oh yes, there's no atmosphere quite like it. It's absolutely unique. It's a unique crowd there, of course, Liverpool, and it's a unique challenge. It just provokes that word, unique, all the time, doesn't it, from every aspect. No, it's a great day.
Paul Murphy, representing Dad Ferdy, trainer of last season's 4th, big fella, thanks. And again, a horse has got 2 solid runs in the Grand National, must be a life contender for 11 stone 1.
Yeah, definitely. We're happy with the weight. It's £3, not a lot compared to last year. He's improved this year a lot. Horses are a bit quiet at the moment, but he runs on Saturday for his prep race, and the girl that rides him every day is in absolutely fantastic form, so we're hoping for a big run.
That fall last time at Newbury, would that be a concern, or does his schooling at home been fine since?
Schooling's been fine. It was one of the most stupidest falls that happens handicappers every now and again. He just clipped the top foot, couldn't get the landing gear out. A silly fall that should have never happened, but one of those things that you just put down to experience. But he schooled the following 2 days after as if nothing had happened, so that's not concerning us at all.
And stamina-wise, Paul, some people looking at last season's race viewed the race in that they thought he maybe didn't quite get home. Is that a fair query with the horse, or as he's got older, would stamina have developed within him as well?
Yeah, I mean, we sat down and watched the race, myself, Graham and Dad. Obviously with Syrium finishing 5th for me the year before, they said he wasn't a stayer as well, and I think he silenced a few people. And I love the National. I've ridden the winner of the National Fences, and I spend a lot of time studying it. It's probably a fair enough comp, but he is a year older, which is going to, a lot of strengthening up, change of scenery. Things have gone good from this season, so we're just kind of hoping that maybe with a year on his back, and Graham obviously likes to ride him from behind in most of his races. I think if he's ridden that way and they go plenty of pace, if the ground was good, I think, he might just creep into it.
And Paul, as you said, you did train Sirium to be fifth in the race, so you've ridden over the Grand National fences very successfully. That being the case, have you been able to offer Dad any little nuggets of advice as to how to accentuate Big Fella's chance of winning?
I don't think I'm in a position to offer Dad advice, really. I take a lot from him. But we do, we sit down and discuss things. I think if you want to be a successful racehorse trainer, you've got to be open-minded. That's the main thing in life, and you've got to listen to what people say. And, just in his training ways, different things that we bring him to the beach, we do different things.